You're listening to Braless Watch, where a mother and daughter team offer their own opinions on watching TV through a feminist lens.
I'm Beth, the mom.
And I'm Lily, the daughter.
Welcome to Braless Watch, where TV watching gets a whole new perspective. Clothing is optional. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, actually.
Good. Yeah, it's a lot warmer here now.
Yeah. It lifts my mood.
It does. Yeah, I noticed.
That, and we have fun stuff to talk about today, too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I love this show. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite procedurals. It's called Warehouse 13. It was created by the Sci-Fi Network. Came out in the summer of 2009. In total, there's 65 episodes. The first season is 12-ish. It's technically 13 if you split the pilot in two.
Oh, that's why it had 13.
Because the 65 episodes, if you split it by 5, because there's 5 seasons, equals 13.
Oh.
There's 13 episodes per season, technically.
That tracks.
Except for 4 and 5, and we'll get there, and we'll talk about that way later.
Okay.
But Warehouse 13.
It was created and written by Jane Espenson, go women,
Yay. Woohoo.
and D. Brent Mote. Yes, that's his name.
Okay.
With the help from Rockne S. O'Bannon and David Simpkins. They were part of the writing process. Maybe they were consulting. I'm not sure. And it is filmed primarily in and around Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
All right.
And do we want to talk about the reality of Warehouse 13?
Yes. So before you get into it, or if you get into it, whatever, don't take it too seriously. Right. It's not historically accurate. It's not scientifically accurate. And it's not trying to be.
Right? It's very steampunk, though.
It's very steampunk. They lean on the past and historical stuff, but they use that as a reference point rather than try to actually use stuff that people would have used.
Yeah, it's very creative, very artful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's quirky. It's very campy.
Very campy.
Don't take it seriously because it doesn't take itself seriously. So
no, yeah.
Just have fun with it. That's part of the reason why it's one of my favorite shows. One of my favorite procedurals specifically, because it is just campy and fun.
Yeah, it's kind of a mix of like Star Trek-y kind of law enforcement, I guess. X-Files gone comedy.
Yes, yeah. Don't expect it to be X-Files. That's way more serious than this.
Oh yeah, even X-Files has some campy
it
moments.
Does, but this is even more.
Yeah, this is definitely
dialed up 50% more.
Yes, very much so. Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we have Micah and Pete, and they are the duo that is the law enforcement. Quote, put that in quotes. Law enforcement.
They're the Secret Service.
They are Secret Service, secret something. Micah Baring is played by Joanne Kelly. Pete Latimer is played by Eddie McClintock. And they are bossed around by Artie Nielsen, played by Saul Rubinek, who is also then bossed around by Mrs. Frederick, played by CCH Pounder. There's Agent Daniel Dickinson, played by Simon Reynolds in this particular season. Lena, played by Janelle Williams, also in this particular season. And then Claudia Donovan, played by Allison Scagliotti. I had to say that in my brain a couple times so I can make sure I got that one right. So, yeah. Quite a big cast.
It is. And that's the thing, is that they're not all main cast. Really, it's Pete, Micah, and Artie for this first season. That's always the main. Mrs. Frederick will pop in every now and again.
Literally.
That's like her thing. Lena will join whenever is necessary, whenever it's required of her character. Same with Claudia.
Yeah.
And Daniel Dickinson, he's only in this first season because he's Pete and Micah's ex-boss.
Right. They were poached.
They were poached. They were not poached. They were pulled.
They were pulled.
They were told, you're going to South Dakota.
They were voluntold.
Yes. It was, you're going to South Dakota. Bye now.
It's actually part of the comedy of it, I think. Mm-hmm. It's a comment on law enforcement, how you can be jerked around, basically, if you're assigned in those systems. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So Warehouse 13, as an actual place in South Dakota, it's not a real place, mind you, but in the show, it's a place in South Dakota that holds artifacts that have different and mysterious ways of ruining the world's day, as Artie put it. And Mrs. Frederick is attached to that in some way. We'll find out more later about that. But she sort of runs it. She's sort of the head. But she's not the boss.
She is not the boss.
No.
We find that out in this season.
Yes.
Towards the end. She actually has to answer to people higher than her. So we don't get a sense of the system.
No.
Because we're seeing it mainly from Pete and Micah's perspective.
Exactly.
And they're in the dark a lot of the time. And Micah has a real problem with that.
She does.
So she's very loud about speaking up on that.
Which is good. I'm glad she is.
Yeah, really. So I just want to make a note here about how you said that nothing in Warehouse 13 is real. So please do not believe Google, because Google AI will tell you that things are real about Warehouse 13, because AI is stupid and it's not real. None of this is real.
Yeah,
it's all
trying to
up.
research this was very fun.
It was. It's just as campy as the show itself.
Right. The AI really got confused.
Very much so. Trigger warnings are gun violence, sexual content, alcoholism, there's a car accident scene, intimate partner domestic violence, suicidal imagery, unconsented sexual advances, kidnapping, mental health discussion, loss and grief, there's a lot of that, colonization discussion and comment, cultural appropriation, and have specifics for that, stereotyping, gang discussion from the law enforcement perspective, not necessarily the other side, gambling, crime representation, and prison imagery. Yeah. Which is a lot more than I thought when I was writing them all out. But I caught all that.
But it's still not as much as I thought.
No, and with it being a procedural, it makes sense that these things would be referenced, right?
Right. They go to a prison. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. They're law enforcement. They have guns. Makes sense. They're law enforcement.
Yeah.
All of these make sense, right?
Yep.
So if you're not a fan of procedurals, this is not the show for you.
Right. Well, it's just good for you to have that list so you can.
Yeah, of course.
Figure it out if you want to watch those things, or you maybe can avert your eyes or turn your head or whatever. Yeah. So
that's why we list them.
Yeah. To warn you.
Yeah. Give you a heads up. Let's talk about Micah and Pete for a minute.
Okay.
So Micah's very straight-laced character. She's very much follows everything by the letter. She tries her best to follow the rule book. It comes up multiple times that she's read the manual and Pete has not, because Pete, on the other hand, is not like that.
No, he's really organic.
He's very organic. He lets his vibes lead him, as he says. It's his gut feeling. And most of it is him noticing things.
Do you feel like there's a gender switch there in normal procedurals where the woman is the one with the vibes?
Yes.
Yeah, because I made a note about that. I was like, this seems a little crossed.
Well, so part of their character dynamic came from the actors themselves. So Eddie talked about this at a Comic-Con, where the actor dynamic of her being the straight-laced and him being a little more playful with everything came from an audition where they randomly got paired together. And she was reading her line as she was supposed to, but she accidentally said the word robot instead of something else. And so Eddie's response was to do the robot, in which Joanne responded by hitting him and glaring at him. Oh, wow. And then they continued. But that once the creators saw that, they were like, that's it. That's the dynamic.
It's a sibling kind of dynamic.
That's what we want.
Yeah. Really great. Yeah, because it's organic, right? It's a chemistry between the two actors. Yeah, and it actually does play out in several scenes that you can see that dynamic. Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool that it crossed from real life to screen life into their character. That's awesome. I had a note about Micah.
Okay.
In regards to Pete, how Micah makes assumptions about Pete being inferior to her in the beginning.
She does.
And it makes her arrogant towards him until she starts to learn more about how he works.
Right.
And then she starts to accept that as that is the norm for him.
Right. That's his normal. And he is right sometimes.
Yeah.
Like in the plot. Or not in the plot. The pilot. In the pilot. I mean, he gets her on the floor before the dude flips the table. That's what that's the first
She's like,
thing.
how did you know?
How did you know? I just did.
Those of us with higher empathy, higher vibes, higher intunement or attunement to their world, that's just the explanation. There's like a seventh, eighth sense or something about our makeup or the way we interact with the world. I say we because I have this, and I learned not to ignore it either. So, yeah.
When you got that feeling, you got to trust it. Always trust your gut. Don't just follow the rules. Got to trust your gut sometimes.
And check in with your gut.
Right?
It's that connection, mind-body connection, which is so very woo, right?
Woo,
And hippy-dippy, yeah. But there's something to be said about that. And I love that it's represented by a man, which isn't normally a thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. Shall we move on to Artie?
Artie, I love Artie.
Artie is just a grumpy old man. He's the father of them all, basically.
I was thinking about who I relate to the most because I like Pete and I like his vibes and all that stuff. And I like Lena and her ability to read auras and all that stuff, right? And all the sort of what you would call supernatural or spiritual way of interacting with the world. But Artie's my dude, man. Because he's parental, and I think that's
very parental. And he's also, he gets lost in his own head, and he'll say a sentence, and they're like, what?
Right? Yeah, I think that's part of it, too, the neurodivergent part, right? That's really attracted to one person having like a hyper focus of something and really, and then also feeling very responsible.
Yes.
And protective. Those are the qualities that I'm attracted to in Artie as far as a character or person, because those are qualities that I have in my own body, right? My own makeup. So
yeah, as we watch the first season, you see that Artie takes responsibility for every death.
Yeah.
Every life affected in his line of work.
Yeah.
He feels really responsible.
Yeah. He doesn't take that lightly.
No.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Which is why he's a great boss.
Boss, agent. Yeah.
Agent, yeah.
I had a note about Pete.
Oh, you have something else about Pete?
Yeah, he's motivated by food.
Oh, God, yes. All the time. Especially cookies.
Right? That's what I wrote, especially cookies. And I wrote haha in my notes because I think it's so funny and cute. And it's almost every episode. There's some kind of reference to him stealing food or getting cookies or...
Yeah, in the pilot, he steals a cookie from the bakery that they go to interview
I know, and I'm
at.
sitting here thinking, he's law enforcement. He just stole a cookie.
He did. He doesn't care.
He didn't pay for the cookie.
No, he didn't. Later in this series, he brings Claudia donuts, and then he checks the bag and he has to correct himself and says donut. And then later in the episode, it's half a donut.
Yeah, and when he said one donut, he's like, what? It's chocolate. And then he ends up eating half of it anyway. So funny.
Which is really another contrast because Micah says she doesn't eat sugar.
Right.
Yet she does multiple times. And this is not now, but later in the series, Twizzlers become her thing.
Oh, wow. Yes, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and there's a moment when he's like, hey, I'm taking everybody out for ice cream. Do you want anything or do you want to come? And she's like, no, I want to stay here and I just want to spend some time with myself and, sort of just, she's tired, right? And he's like, do you want me to bring you back anything? And she says the famous line of, no, I don't, I don't eat sugar. And he's like, right, I got you. And then he lists off like butterscotch something, blah, 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 or whatever kind of ice cream.
Yeah, it's specific ice cream with chocolate sprinkles.
Yeah,
There's a bunch of stuff to it.
He knew the whole order. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cute. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it as far as like the split between them. She is very by the book, but that makes sense for her character.
She's also very aware of her surroundings. I mean, in the first episode, I keep going back to it because that's where they really highlight these things. The first episode, she notices when the professor puts the pencil in the pen cup rather than the pencil cup, even though he's very organized. Like his books are alphabetical.
She recognizes her own traits in other people, right? That sort of organized, orderly, everything has its place because she comes from a bookstore.
She does.
So there's got to be some kind of system.
Well, and she also comes from a strict household.
Yeah. Yep. I didn't clock that. Yeah. I clocked that with, I made the comment that she's always looking for her father's approval.
She is.
Yeah. Which then makes her look for Artie's approval. And then later in the season, we learn when she's stuck in the mirror and she's like, this is the one thing we don't talk about. This is the one thing.
I have that quote if you want it.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do that one yet, but I've got it. So she says, here's what you and I both know, but we never talk about. That I don't trust you. That I need you to tell me the truth. And not to treat me like some chess piece that you move around on a board that only you can see. That I am valuable, that I matter, and I deserve to know everything about this world that you send me into every day, so at least I have a fighting chance.
Right. So this is one of Artie's flaws, right? Is that he thinks he can protect by holding tighter. And that's just not what happens with parenting. It doesn't happen when you're being overprotective. Take it from a helicopter mom. That's not how things work, right?
She is. Everyone, she is.
The tighter you hold, the worse the relationship can be. And you have to loosen up the grip a bit to let that person make mistakes. Let that person, make their own decisions and have the consequences of those decisions. And Artie does start to loosen up after this episode, and then he starts to stand up for them too. He
does, and later in the series, he does it even more. They become more cohesive as a team. This first episode and the first season, they're still learning how to work with one another. Pete and Micah had worked together before, so they have a little bit closer of a relationship. Plus, they started at the same time. But Artie's been there for years, and as far as we know, for the last few months, he's been there alone.
Right.
He's been dealing with warehouse stuff alone. And now he's got 2 agents that he's trying to help
acclimate
and take care of.
Right.
It's a lot.
Yeah. That's a lot of pressure.
Especially when he has all this weight of all the agents. Because even in the first episode,
the agents from the past, and now he's got 2 agents for the future, and in between all of that, he has the weight of the warehouse itself that he's been in charge of, which is a lot.
And to add all that, there's a hacker trying to get in.
Right. Wow.
Let's add to all this emotional pressure. Let's add a hacker who's trying to get into the warehouse and find the warehouse so that they can kidnap Artie.
Which does happen. Poor Artie. Just goes to show that we can never be perfect humans.
No.
It's impossible to be a perfect human as much as you try. Yeah.
Okay. So going into episode 1, that's the pilot. It's 88 minutes long, so it's 2 episodes in one.
Basically.
There's a lot to it, and I'm not going to go into it. Watch it yourself.
Jeez.
But the whole plot goes around this hair comb, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's based off of a true person. What is it? Lucretia Borgia, I think. So she was a real person. She was born in 1480 in Rome and was the illegitimate daughter of a cardinal who would become Pope VI.
Dang.
Yeah.
Illegitimate daughter of a pope.
Yeah.
Well, that's a mouthful.
So this next sentence is the reason why she has this. So she has this like storyline with her. She had 3 marriages over her lifetime, as well as a few affairs. She died at 39.
Dang.
After having her 10th child. There was pregnancy complications because the child was sick as well. Yeah. Tales of her family have painted her as a femme fatale over the years. Yeah. Crazy.
So she's illegitimate, but ends up marrying 3 times. What religion, if there was any?
I don't know. I didn't get too far into.
Well, coming from the Pope, I guess it would be Catholic.
It has to be Catholic.
If she even ascribed to that. 3 husbands, though. You're not supposed to divorce in Catholicism.
That means they died, which is why she has the femme fatale.
Did she kill them?
Possibly. Who knows?
Oh,
I didn't get too far into it.
Right?
But
I guess it matters on the theme of the plot then, because something about the pain.
It was the love of pain and her love that she was trying to give her love, right?
Right.
And she was continually going through different pain.
Emotional pain.
Emotional pain, yes. Even some physical, because she had a few stillbirths too.
I mean, goodness, being pregnant 10 times before you're 39.
Well, those are the ones we know of.
And 1400s, likelihood of her being pregnant, what, at 12, 13 is probably really high.
I don't know. I didn't get too far into her history.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't do the math on that, but my goodness.
Yeah, she was only 39 when she died, and she was married 3 times. So that's
when you put a body through all that, that's not going to hold up. Yeah.
Right. But so it's based off of a real person. This comb. I don't think the comb is real.
No, but the painting, is the painting real?
I didn't look at the painting.
Oh.
I didn't look for the painting. Sorry.
Interesting. But the person in the paint, well, represented in the painting in Warehouse 13. Ooh, it's like Inception. The woman represented in the painting in Warehouse 13 is a real person.
Yes.
In history.
In history, yes.
Of the earth.
So this is where the historical, it's based on history, but it's not.
Right. When they mention Albert Einstein or Tesla or whatever, then yeah, those are people that actually lived.
Yeah.
So Warehouse 13 does mention real people that actually did contribute to historical instances.
They contribute to things in the warehouse like Edgar Allan Poe's notebook and pen, which is in episode 10. 11. It's called Nevermore. Wonder why.
Anybody else that's referenced that's real, or did you just do the one?
Oh gosh, yes.
Okay.
So moving on into episode 2, I wanted to talk about the Great Santini real quick. Because I've never seen that. It's a movie. It's an American drama. It was from 1979. It was a film directed and written by Louis John Carlino. It's about a strict military man who is a warrior without a war, according to Wikipedia.
Okay.
The tagline on the movie was, "The bravest thing he would ever do was let his family love him."
My goodness.
I know.
And the Great Santini was referenced where?
It was referenced to Micah. Micah references it for her family. She's like, it wasn't, but my life wasn't over in 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how she references her dad, really, in her growing up.
Loving him is hard, apparently.
Yes. Even though she wants his approval.
Right?
There's
well, that's a dynamic I could get into.
Dynamic, yeah. Joseph Dunninger was mentioned in episode 3. He was a proficient and famous mentalist at the time. He was known as the Amazing Dunninger. This is referenced in episode 3 in the pocket watch that they think is the artifact. It's not.
It's not?
No. He was a pioneer of performers for magic on radio and television. So
yeah.
He also was a debunker of fraudulent mediums. He had a fun time.
And yet he was a
mentalist.
Okay. I was going to reference him as a magician, but okay.
That's what he calls himself.
Both sides of one coin.
I guess. I'm not quite sure what the difference between a mentalist and a magician is, besides
why
time.
would he debunk mediums but then go on and try to hide things by doing...
Because mediums were trying to pretend that they could be part of the spiritual world. He was not. He was a magician.
Basically a magician.
A magician, yeah.
For lack of a better way to describe that.
Yeah. So in that episode, the actual artifact is a chair from James Braid.
Yeah.
So he was an actual person, and he was a surgeon and a significant pioneer in hypnotism and hypnotherapy. He was also influential in hypnotic anesthesia as well as chemical anesthesia.
Hypnotic anesthesia. Never heard of that.
I mean, in, what was that? This 19th century doing surgery, they didn't really have anesthesia. So
nope.
It was about speed. And that was that. You just tried to do it well.
Oof.
And quick.
Yeah,
So,
I guess the best thing to knock you out would be alcohol, like whiskey or scotch or something like that. Oof.
Yeah. So
it's funny because I have a degree in mental health, but because of the specifics of the degree I have, it didn't go this far back of history because it wasn't a thing.
Yeah,
because my letters, the letters behind my name, don't go back that far.
Well, and also it's hypnotherapy. I'm not sure if it would.
Yeah, this would be history of psychology, I would think,
right?
Or psychiatry. Yeah,
exactly.
Which is not my vein of mental health.
It is not.
So,
episode 4 is all about Redicus and Claudia.
oh yeah, I was super enthralled with this particular episode.
Yeah, because Redicus was he did a lot with math. He was a mathematician, astronomer, cartographer, navigational instrument maker, even a medical practitioner and a teacher.
That makes sense.
So did you catch the LGBT with him?
Yeah, he had a partner named Thomas.
He did, and that is true. Well, not maybe the Thomas part, but we know he was at least bi, because he was forced into exile from Leipzig, Germany in 1551 for a homosexual affair.
Went against the religion.
Well,
whatever religion that is, probably went against the religion.
Don't know. It was Eastern Europe or Germany. So, yeah. So it was true.
So that's episode
4.
So, folks, we get episode 4 all the way in, and we get an LGBT reference, which I was super happy with because up to this point is a very heteronormative.
Did you catch the other one that was in the same episode?
No.
So it's from the, they go to Claudia's apartment.
Yes.
And it's the home, the landlord person.
Yeah.
And she's like, she never had any friends over, and they ask about boyfriend or ask about anybody else, and she's like, oh, no boyfriends and no girlfriends either. I don't
catch
judge.
that reference. Yeah.
I don't
just
judge.
didn't count that as a. Yeah, that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, you gotta catch it. There is more LGBT stuff that happens in Warehouse 13. It's just not in the first season.
Right. I was just happy that they had any kind of reference to it at all.
Especially in 2009 in a network TV show. Episode 5 talks about the Lenape tribe, also known as the Delaware people. They had land in upstate New York, all the way to Maryland in the 16th and 17th century. Now they're split amongst Oklahoma, Wisconsin, and Ontario.
So they were real people.
Yes, it was a real tribe.
Awesome.
This was not real, however. In episode 8, the Jubilee Grand Casino. That's not a real place. However, it's based on a real fire. And the fire was the MGM Grand Casino fire in 1980. The fire killed 85 people.
My goodness.
And the fire began from a refrigerated pastry display case in one of the restaurants on the first floor. The fire engulfed the resort's casino, and the smoke traveled into the hotel tower.
Wonder why they use that as a reference for their.
Because it's one of the biggest disasters in Nevada. It led to reform in fire safety and guidelines and codes in the state.
Interesting.
Because it was a big fire.
Yeah. I mean, 85 people.
85 people in 1980. And that was just in the casino.
Wow. In the episode, though, there's no fire.
No, they mention it with the coin. And the coin is how whoever they stole it from, because they were thieves, they got out of the fire.
Gotcha. Okay, that's referencing another. My brain's going to another artifact. We're not going to talk about that right now.
Okay. In episode 9, Claudia puts on the Volta lab coat.
Yes.
So Alessandro Volta was an actual person. He was an Italian chemist and physicist who was a pioneer in electricity and power and is credited as the inventor of the electric battery and discoverer of methane.
Wow.
Right?
Okay. That doesn't seem like it would go together, but all right.
Well, he's a chemist and a physicist.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then.
But that's why Claudia gets stuck, because it's battery.
Interesting.
Electricity. Last thing I have is in episode 12, they mentioned 2 different minerals, elements.
Quartz. Wait, no, that's the wrong one.
That's the wrong one. That's the stone. I was talking about painite. They mentioned that the walls of the Warehouse 13 are filled with it.
Yeah.
Or not filled with it, but have traces of it.
Is that even a thing?
Yes, it is. It's an actual rare borite mineral. It's known for its reddish brown color or orange brown color, and it's popular in jewelry.
Okay.
But it is rare. And then to let McPherson in, he has to wear the necklace with the crystallized diamonds mixed with palladium.
Yes.
Palladium is a real thing, obviously. It's chemical element, atomic number 46.
Wow.
I know. That's all I have for that.
Okay. Got a little chemistry lesson there.
You're welcome. Chemistry, history lesson. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Since we're on elements, and I'll just mention this about the quartz because I'm just going to circle back to it.
Okay.
That was an interesting episode in that they didn't necessarily have an artifact they could take with them or neutralize.
No, because it was the whole building.
Yeah, it was actually where it was located. It was geographically an artifact.
It was one of those places where in time they'll probably close it down and pick it up and move it
relocate it. Yeah.
into the warehouse like they did with Lena's,
Ah.
the first Lena's. If you notice, they also have ships and there's a windmill in the warehouse.
Yeah,
there's
there's
several
trucks
other things. There's
and
trucks.
things like that. Yeah.
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 At one point, there's even a Ferris wheel that you'll see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Gosh, how do you capture something like that?
Take it down piece by piece or use a couple helicopters.
That makes me wonder if the warehouse opens up from the top.
Right.
Okay. Imagination. All right. So in the first episode, I noted that Micah and Pete compare notes on a case, or on the case they're working on, from a heteronormative stereotyping from the young students' relationship. They apply heteronormative, what they know to be heteronormative.
They do.
Because that's their own perspective. They don't really think about LGBT because they themselves are not LGBT.
Well, and it wasn't a thing that was talked about. It was still there was still a movement coming, right? This was 2009, so a lot's changed since then. To give you an example, I have this in my miscellaneous, but I'll just tell you now. In episode 8, Claudia and Pete are fighting over a game or something, and he shuts it off, and she says, "You at least saved, right?" "Yeah, I saved." That's what Pete responds with. Video games autosave nowadays. Most things autosave nowadays. You don't have to save it. You don't have to click the button to do that. But back then, that was still the norm. You have to save it. You have to save the Word document. You have to save the Excel sheet, whatever. Otherwise, it will disappear.
It'll erase everything.
It'll disappear. So
it's interesting how much
changed.
has changed. Yeah. Even though the show is relatively new.
It's new-ish.
It is new-ish, yeah. Interesting. So in episode 2, I made a reference to a quote.
Okay.
Micah says, "What is it with men and their balls?"
Yes, I took that one down too.
It's Micah in response to the football being ricocheted on her head.
On her head. I mean, Pete tried to warn her, but she was on the phone.
You right? Yeah. In contrast to that, she kicks ass. Like, I love her physical moves. In fact, that we see more of Micah doing that kind of work than Pete. So
if we go back to the first episode, what we first see, Pete is dealing with the artifact, right? Even though he doesn't know that yet. But Pete is dealing with the artifact, and Micah is kicking the dude's ass.
Right? The assailant, basically.
The assailant, yeah, because he's trying to go after the president.
Yeah. I like how she quietly takes off her shoes.
Yep. She takes off her heels, and then she's ready to go.
Right? And in bare feet,
Uh-huh.
she kicks his butt. It's awesome.
She does it multiple times. She does it in France. They do
Right.
with the French policeman. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun to watch her do that. And I'm glad she's the one getting all the moves.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kicks Pete's ass several times.
She does. So that episode, that's episode 3.
I mean, there's several references, but is that the first time? Episode 3?
Well, I'm talking about when she gets dosed by James Braid's chair, and she ends up accidentally keeps punching him.
Oh, yeah.
Because subconsciously she wants to hit
Right.
him.
That's also heteronormative in a way, because she just admits, like in verbal form,
She does.
I hate all men. My dad, Artie.
I have the quote.
Okay.
She says, I'm angry at men. My boss, my colleagues, my partner, my father, they're everywhere, suffocating. And of course, the priest is like, or whatever he is, he's like, what? That's not what we're talking about. What's going on?
Her true feelings start coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The oppression, right, that is felt there from a feminist perspective, right? And I think that's kind of where she starts to reconcile that she is a feminist, that she is angry about these things, and she's angry about the inequity that she has likely endured by being in a law enforcement perspective, right?
Especially being Secret Service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then still not to receive approval from her dad because she's protecting the president of the United States, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that what, even though she's a female that has elevated herself to protecting a man, her father can't seem to come around to being, proud of her, or at least articulating that he's proud of her, which gets resolved at the end of the season. But
I wouldn't say resolved. It gets better.
it does get better. The father purposely pulls her aside and talks to her. So,
Well, I will say, I'm not trusting that. Sorry. I was looking up females in the Secret Service. Like, when did that start coming about? AI is telling me 1971. I don't know how much I trust that.
I was going to say 1960s. That was my guess.
Well, so the reason I say something is because we have, what's her name? Jack's partner.
Oh, the blonde. Rebecca, yeah.
Yeah, Rebecca. She's supposed to be part of it in like the 60s.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
So I'm wondering if she wasn't part of the Secret Service, because they take agents from everywhere.
Right. It's a propensity to your own
because even
talent is how you're pulled.
Well, and it's also, we'll get to it, but it's also artifacts have already affected you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're already sort of a part of it. You already sort of know, even though you don't know it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, so she's supposed to be in it in the 60s. So I'm guessing she's not a Secret Service agent, Rebecca.
Mm-hmm. We don't get much history on her, actually.
No.
Yeah.
We know that her and Jack are partners, both romantically and in the field.
Right. So in episode 3, I made a note that Micah does not stay quiet or in the shadows. And I put this in caps, takes up space.
Yes.
In the space of men and other women authorities, or people that are supposed to be in authoritative positions, even when she doesn't appear to have the background or knowledge when she actually does. This popped up when she was talking to the EMT, and she's like, well, this person, it doesn't look like it might be medication because of this, this, and this. And the EMT's like, are you a doctor? And she's like, no, not really.
I just read a lot.
I just know. And this is kind of the same answer that Pete gives when he has a vibe, right?
Right.
You just kind of know. And when you're, no offense to smart people, but when you're smart, you kind of just, know.
Yeah.
And yeah. So it's an interesting thing that she doesn't reduce herself.
No. And she doesn't let herself be reduced.
Yeah. She doesn't allow it.
It comes up multiple times where she thinks she is being reduced. And that it comes up with Artie specifically.
I was thinking about them.
Yeah. Because she says, what does she say? She says something along the lines of how she's not a red shirt.
Right.
Which is referencing earlier in the episode, Pete mentions that, actually I have that quote here. He says, first, Artie doesn't think we're red shirts. Second, it's really cool. You know what I meant. Right.
For anyone listening, a red shirt references Star Trek.
The original series. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she doesn't she doesn't want to be reduced.
Right. And I love the way that she portrays it too, because there's tears in her eyes, but she refuses to let them go. And she's like, I am not a red shirt.
There's that. And then when she's in the mirror. Right.
There's still passion there, but she's not allowing herself to be super upset.
Right. She says, I'm valuable. I matter.
Right. When that becomes attached to emotion. Yeah.
You need to treat me like I matter.
Right. I love that she expects it. Right. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Micah's a great character.
She's a feminist.
I have to say, every woman on the show is a badass.
Every woman is a feminist and a badass in that show. Yeah. And it's actually...
Well, and they're it's based on their character that they're just inherently that way. It's not force-fed, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
A lot of shows nowadays, it feels like they're forcing it onto a character. Like they created a character. Oh, let's make them a feminist too.
Right.
It's a part of them. It's already a part of them.
It's built into the character build. Yeah.
It's a part of who they are. It's a part of their natural being.
Yeah.
To be a badass, to be a feminist, to be mysterious.
To take up space.
Yeah. Even Lena does it.
Carve out your own space. Yeah.
Even Lena does it.
Yeah. Find value in yourself and you'll expect others to find value in you. Yeah, for sure. I have one more reference for episode 3.
Okay.
Artie keeps referring to the anonymous hacker as he.
He does.
Which was starting to annoy me. Because, just use they.
Well, so that wasn't a big thing back then, right?
Oh, yeah.
2009.
True.
That wasn't a big thing yet. Once we start getting into the late teens, that's when it really starts to take off.
Yeah.
That kind of verbiage.
Yeah. Which turns out to be not
cusp.
He.
It's not a he, no. It's a Claudia.
It's a Claudia. Claudia is super awesome. Yeah. She's another one that doesn't necessarily fit in any one box at any one time.
No.
And I can relate to that perspective. Someone who's had 4 jobs and other sundry kind of activities in her life. I don't fit in one box either. So I can certainly relate to that. And as Micah gets to know Claudia, I think the two of them realize both of them come from similar cloths, including the other female characters that come on board too. None of them fit into particular boxes that society creates for women in general. Yeah. So I think that's why the feminist perspective is very strong. Well, then it was written by a woman, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, there was a woman in influence.
Right.
We can tell.
Right. It's obvious.
Right.
But it's not force fed. It's not, hey, look at me, I'm a feminist. I'm going to go protest kind of situation.
Yeah, it's not a protest kind of, no, they literally take up space because they want value to be seen in them because they value themselves. That is literally the concept.
Right. There it is. There's the podcast, everyone. Now we're going to go find that in other shows.
Right. So, I'm trying to see if there was any other, I think it gets, as it moves along. So episode 1 is very hetero.
It is.
Centric.
So
and then as it moves along and we get to Claudia, right, then it starts to turn a little bit.
Because Claudia adds the final piece that they needed for a little bit.
Right.
We'll get one more piece later, character-wise.
Right.
But she's the final piece that the show needed.
Right, because
it needed that young view.
It did need a young view. We had this. I didn't mention this earlier, but I wanted to. Is that the cast itself age range is just across the board. Love that. So it, not only is it not ageist, right? That they picked from several different diverse ages, several diverse cultural backgrounds. I mean, all of it, right? It's awesome. That I guess they hired based on how they could bring the character to life.
Possibly. I'm not quite sure. I only know about Micah and Pete.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome.
I will say episode 1 is different than the rest of the series. And part of that comes from them writing it first and then, selling it. And then,
I mean, yeah, it's a pilot. So
it's a pilot. So that's just how it works.
And who are they marketing to?
Right.
Men executives. Seriously.
Well,
probably
actually,
heteronormative ones too.
So the first episode is dedicated to Nora O'Brien. She was an NBC executive. She was a friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that just shot my theory to
It did.
hell. Unless she was heteronormative and subscribes to that. I mean, which is possible.
It's possible, but she had a bunch of dedications because she was really young when she died. I think she died of cancer.
My goodness.
Yeah. And by really young, I mean 45, I think.
Wow, okay.
So very young. Anyway, but the first episode is different, and they also had a different plan going forward, because if you notice in the first episode, Sam's a little more involved, and they don't really resolve that with Houdini's wallet. It just kind of fades away into nothing. And that's because in the first episode, what the original plan was for Sam to be a recurring character.
Oh.
To be like a
I wonder why they carried it through so many episodes.
Well, they didn't. They only carried it in the first episode. And then it came back in...
the prison episode.
The prison episode, that's it. Because that's Micah's past.
Right.
Right? But in that first episode, they didn't really go anywhere with that. And that's why, is because they planned on having that actor be like a love interest. Like that was a planned thing.
Oh, wow.
To be a continued love interest for Micah. So for episode 3, at the very beginning, Pete and Micah are complaining to each other. And this is when they get gooed.
Yes.
So I have a problem with the costume choice here. So they're complaining in the warehouse, causing negative energy, and Artie has to goo them. Micah is wearing a white shirt.
She is wearing a white shirt.
Why did they do that?
Why did they do that?
Why? Because I know she does wear some white shirts.
For all of our lesbian watchers.
I know that she wears some white or lighter shirts throughout the series, but for that particular moment, did it have to be white? Because even later in the episode, she's wearing a blue shirt.
Right.
It's not dark blue, but it's blue.
Right. Why couldn't she wear the blue shirt for the goo scene and wear the white shirt for the other scene?
Yes, she's wearing a bra and an undershirt, but still, why does it have to be a white shirt?
Makes me wonder if the actress actually asked for the underclothes.
Especially because Pete is wearing black.
Right?
He's wearing a black shirt.
I mean, that's a comment in itself right there. So we can't win all the battles.
No, that one's a little more frustrating. Yes, I did notice this because when I first noticed it was a previous rewatch, but I noticed the costuming this time that she does wear light stuff, so it's consistent with her character,
right?
But it also doesn't have to be for this particular scene.
Didn't have to be, no.
No, they had a choice and they chose this.
Yeah,
it's a little frustrating.
I could hear the costumer conversation with, casting and directors and all that, and producers and, the table.
It's probably one battle they didn't want to fight.
Right. It's just one of those things. Maybe they compromised on having undershirts and whatever. I mean, like you said, this is further back. So if it was remade today, would we have this problem? Who knows?
Who knows? And who knows what Joanne Kelly would have thought.
Right.
Back then, now, who knows?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I do want to mention that they do wear comfortable shoes. All of them. All of them.
There's only a few times where Micah wears heels, and it's like the first episode when they're supposed to be at a gala. Right.
Yeah.
It's important. It's a part of the costume that she's part of.
Right. It's supposed to blend in. To blend in. Yeah.
It makes sense.
She also wears heels when she's in the casino too, but that's also due to the character she's portraying at the time.
Exactly, because she's not her.
She's not herself, yeah.
Micah-ish. And Joanne Kelly does a great job in that episode, by the way.
Yeah.
To be Micah-ish. To be Alice playing Micah.
Right. But there's no real purses. No. In fact, Artie's the one that carries a bag all the time. It's like a sort of a Mary Poppins bag, or stuff comes out and you're like, where did that come from? Who knows what
he carries around on a normal day.
Well, it's so funny because one scene he's like, don't tip it, I have my lunch in there, and then he tips it. I'm like, dude, you just said don't tip it, and you're the one that just tipped it.
Yep.
So anyway, I just thought that was funny.
There's a lot of quips like that where it's just, don't tip it, it's my lunch, or I work with children, or he says that. There's another line where he says, my only pleasure in life is concocting ways to embarrass you.
Yes.
Now go to work.
Very parenting. Right.
Now go to work.
I could go back and rewatch it from a parent perspective and just pick out all the Artie-isms.
There's a lot.
Yeah. Especially when him and Claudia get together.
Yes.
And he did come down on her really hard because he's trying to protect her life.
Yes.
And she's trying to assert herself.
But he does apologize to her.
He does apologize, and then she does get the chance to assert herself.
She does.
And she ends up making a lot of mistakes, but that's how she learns how to be a part of the warehouse team, how she's, how she learns to fit in there at that particular space, right? Yeah, and have a relationship with the warehouse, have a relationship with Artie. How to have a relationship at all, really. She's been on her own for so long. She's still learning how to be a part of a team or be in relationships at all. Yeah. But back to costuming, Mrs. Frederick also wears heels, but if you notice, she wears shorter heels.
She does. They're like kitten heels.
Yeah. So,
but she also doesn't walk.
She doesn't walk, and she does.
Appears.
You can tell she does. You can also tell she doesn't do any physicality in that. Like Micah kicks ass, right?
Right.
She does all the defender stuff.
She does not do a lot of that.
No, but
I can't even think of a time when she does.
Mrs. Frederick exudes power.
She does.
In the way she stands, in the way she speaks, in the way that she just arrives and then sort of commands the air in the room.
She commands the air more than her bodyguard, who is like a foot and a half taller than her.
I would say double her size.
Yeah.
Dude's huge.
He's really tall.
And a really good actor.
For not saying much.
Right? But yeah, and even he's casted as a diverse character. Yeah. So yeah, there's different ways of taking up space. And I think each woman that is portrayed in this whole series takes up space in the way that they define it for themselves.
Well, even the guys do too.
Yes.
They take up their own space.
But the thing is, this is equity. This is how equity works. When you have diversity, when you have a diverse team, right?
Yep.
You allow each person to take up that space. And Artie starts to realize this towards the end of this particular season. Not only does he realize he needs the help, right? He needs to be assisted by the people he's employed. But then also he realizes, I don't have to do this all on my own. I can back my space up to allow space for others to grow. And then we can lift everyone up.
And that really comes up in season 2.
Yes. So you can see the arc really come towards the end of the season. Yeah. And it starts
That's when they
flip.
start to gel. They start to do really well as a team.
So anyway, yeah, I just think that the costuming is appropriate to each character. The body language is appropriate to each character. I see a lot of Claudia. I don't know if you noticed this, but I did. Claudia sort of has a loose neck, and that's the only way I can describe it, in that she's like, and she's like, oh my God, and this sort of childlike, like, oh my God, adults,
right?
Like, just let me do my thing, that kind of teenagery kind of push-pull situation.
She's supposed to be somewhere between 19 and 23, somewhere in there.
I think she mentions, she's like, I'm only 19.
I think she's actually supposed to be older than that because of the math with Joshua, but
I don't know. She did mention it though. What age she was.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
She also said a quote in episode 6. She says, "Besides, I'm allergic to old."
Right.
Because because Artie wouldn't let her into the records room.
Right. And she makes up quips and imaginary type words and things like that, which is so her age group from that time period. Yeah.
Like the Goory.
Goory, that's on the thing. Yeah. And then Micah corrects her for the actual name, which makes sense from her perspective and from her character.
It's the neutralizer processing plant or center.
Yeah. But that's and Pete's just on the sidelines going, whatever, ladies.
Whatever, right? I don't care.
Yeah.
We need to get there.
So the other, if you don't have anything else for the inequity stuff.
No.
In episode 5.
Yes.
Where
I have to say, episode 5, if it's the episode I'm thinking of.
It's the
Elements. Yeah, it's the Elements episode. It's not my favorite.
Yeah, it kind of didn't settle well with me either.
So the reason it's not my favorite, and I realized it at the end, is because there's no Micah, Pete figuring things out. They're just along for the ride the whole time. Mm-hmm. Artie magically knows that it's a Native American feather, and then that leads them on the path, and then there's no vibes, there's no Micah noticing, there's nothing.
It sort of lacks substance a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wonder if that is a comment from the creators, because my take on the whole thing was, this is what I wrote. This episode is about how 4 pieces of art are used by a white male to appropriate the properties of the sculptures for his own gain.
And maybe that was the comment.
Which is so cringy.
It is. Well, especially because there's 2 white dudes fighting over it.
Right?
One was trying to protect it, and one was trying to use it. Right. And then Pete and Micah come along.
Yes. Yeah. And it ended weird, too. Like, how did Pete know to do... Yeah, it's just weird. The whole thing was kind of...
It was a little weird.
They could actually take that whole episode out, and the whole season would not...
Well, I think it's the background, right? It's the B plot. That's the more important part of Claudia. Because she had just started... Now she needs to help with the figuring, like, writing up her thing so she doesn't go to federal prison, those kind of things. Because that was what she was supposed to be doing and helping Joshua move on with his life. Mm-hmm. And so he ends up going to CERN in Switzerland.
Yeah. It's just not that good of an episode.
It's not. It's the B plot, which is the more important piece.
Right. I don't know. My face doesn't say it wasn't very good.
Well, yeah.
But nobody can see my face right now. I'm trying to think if I think it gets better from that because I don't have many notes.
It does. It does get better.
At that point.
It gets a little more quippy. They start getting more gelling of how they want to go.
I do have a comment, like woman to woman. I don't know if you caught this. Rebecca talks to
Micah
about not letting the job consume her and to get out as soon as she could. Mm-hmm. And I'm on the fence about that being something that she should have said.
Well, yeah. So part of it is she doesn't know Micah, right?
True.
She doesn't know the warehouse now.
Right.
But also, she's just speaking from her own experience. She had to leave the warehouse. She had to run from the warehouse.
She's speaking from what she perceives to be her own wisdom, right?
Right.
Because she's an older person seeing the path that Micah is on. Mm-hmm. She also saw the chemistry between Micah and Pete, and she misinterprets that as to be them being together, but they're not together. They actually have a sibling relationship for the most part.
They do.
They care about each other, but they're not romantic in that way.
No, not really.
No.
Which is why.
Yeah. Which is why they work.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not attracted to each other in that way. But I was on the fence about her overstepping possibly, but she is only coming from her perspective.
She is. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a wrong thing. She may have been slightly out of turn.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Well, and it's unconsented. Micah didn't ask for that.
No.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure Rebecca took the stance of I'm protecting her.
Right. But we also don't know what Rebecca's life was outside of the warehouse.
True.
After she ran away, she went MIA, she changed her last name.
Yeah.
And just waited around. What happened? Because she was waiting for Jack.
Yeah.
If he was going to show up again, she was waiting for him.
I was kind of thinking that Rebecca moved on and had, a marriage and some kids and stuff like that. But
so we don't know.
Yeah, we didn't get that story. So I was like,
And
maybe I just
we never
imagined
find that out. I don't think we find that out. She does come back. Rebecca
she does come back. Yeah.
Not next season.
It's further in. Yeah.
I think it's the 3rd or the 4th season. But yeah.
Another episode that was kind of like the sculpture one was the prison episode, sort of this.
So the prison episode I like more because we get a background, right, of Pete and Micah's fears and their regrets, what they regret from their life.
And we get resolution to that too.
Yes.
They get to process their grief, basically.
Yeah, basically. So
which does weigh them down. I don't know if you noticed that from a mental health perspective. Their
Micah's
grief,
more up
and
afterwards.
Artie's grief weighs him down. So they all have to have this sort of processing. And when McPherson comes in, Artie starts forced, his processing. Yeah, he's forced to. This is what happens, people. Your past comes back to get you.
Yeah, as he says, the past rearing its ugly head.
Yep, and that actually happens in real life from a mental health perspective. And that if you don't resolve or work through, you will repeat patterns. And I think that's what all of them are trying to avoid doing.
Yeah, it's their regrets.
Yeah.
Specifically Pete and Micah, because they're the ones at the prison and dealing with them face to face.
Yeah.
Pete's dealing with his father dying, which we don't learn too much about Pete's family yet.
Right.
There's a reason for that, but we don't learn too much.
There was one mention that his sister is deaf.
His sister is deaf. That is always the case.
Yeah.
His sister is all that doesn't change. That's not like a random fact that gets thrown in and then thrown away.
Right.
That stays. We don't learn too much else about his family until later, but this season's more about his father dying when he was young and how Pete sort of knew. He had his vibe and didn't say anything, and that's what he regrets.
Yeah, but then he resolves that in his own head by having a different perspective.
Of you would have gone anyway, it wouldn't have mattered.
Right. I have no control over your autonomy.
Exactly.
And that's the grief stuff. Those of us who are left behind from a death, we don't have the autonomy to change someone's death.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So taking it to Micah, same thing.
Yeah.
She's like, you were early.
Yeah.
Even though he's saying she's late, even though it's a figment of her mind, right?
Right. It's her guilt talking.
It's her guilt talking.
Because she believes she could have saved him.
Well, there's more to this later, but he was early in her mind.
Yeah.
He was early.
Yeah. But I think the theme of it is that when someone dies and you're the close person to that person, this happens in real life too. And that, because weirdly, I'm a grief expert. If you can put it on there, I've had many, many years and many, many experiences. But what grief does to you is you get this sense of guilt because you didn't save a person. And doctors go through this, first responders go through this, that because you're the closest person to have had the quote unquote power to do something, when in reality we are all human and we all make the educated guesses on how to move forward and the decisions that come from those things, and we don't have control over death. Which
is why it's hard for Artie, because towards the end we find out that he had some control.
Right.
With the Phoenix.
Right. And but he didn't want to use that because it would cost.
Exactly. Yeah. It would cost people lives.
Yeah. And it did.
And it did to save Carol.
Right. Yeah. And even though he wasn't the person who caused that, the choice. Yeah, he still harbors the guilt from it. Yeah. Which makes sense. I mean, that's what grief does. So, yeah, kind of talks to you in a way that's...
It does.
Not helpful. Yeah.
I have one thing in the miscellaneous category. It's one random fact.
Yeah.
Not really a fact. It's just a thing. So in episode 1, Artie offers Pete and Micah oatmeal scotchies.
Yes.
I was like, okay, now I have to look that up.
Well, yeah, you're a baker. That makes sense. If you want to know what that is.
I was like, what is that? So it's an oatmeal cookie with butterscotch chips.
Oh my God. You have to make those now.
So that's what that is.
I'm going to put my order in.
Okay, putting the order in. But yeah, that's what that is.
Do you have any other miscellaneous? Because I have one more miscellaneous. I just saw it on my notes.
Nope.
So in episode 7, this is where I had it noted. You might tell me differently. But in episode 7, it's the first time that the audience gets to hear snag it, bag it, tag it saying. No.
It happens in the first episode.
Really?
It does. It happens in the first episode because
I didn't remember that. I had it noted for episode 7.
Hunt down whatever is threatening to ruin the world's day and neutralize it and bring it back here. Snag it, bag it, tag it.
Okay.
So it was episode 1.
All right. Yeah, that becomes a thing. And then he gets sort of reprimanded for having that as a saying.
By the regents who are above Mrs. Frederick.
Right.
Sort of.
Right.
Yeah.
So funny.
The regents become more central focus later.
Yeah, we learn more about the system, right?
As
the
time
warehouse.
goes on. I do have one more miscellaneous, but it's more from my head than anything else.
Okay.
So Lena's place
Yes.
changes from episode 1 to the rest of the season.
Yeah.
The physical location, changes.
Really? I didn't notice that.
Mm-hmm. It's completely different.
Huh.
Not
Okay.
completely different, but it's a different place altogether.
Huh.
Her bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
I never noticed that.
The inside's the same.
Right.
It's the outside.
Right. And we never see the ferret again.
That's not true.
No?
I don't know if we see it, but it's mentioned multiple times.
What's the ferret's name?
Pete.
And does Pete know about it?
No. Pete doesn't know that.
That's so funny.
That's the thing about this show is that it's very funny. There's a lot of quips. Episode 7, Artie says, "We are all human," and then looks to Mrs. Frederick and says, "As far as I know."
Right?
Episode 9, Pete says, "Okay, he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs," and then moves on with his life.
Right? Oh, man, do you have the quote from Claudia when she goes, "Hey, I'm from the next gen," and she does the Spock hand gesture.
She says, Warehouse 13 Next Generation.
Right, and she does a hand gesture that's the
I don't have
Vulcan thing. I think that's really cute. A lot of Star Trek references in this.
There are.
Yeah. Mainly from Pete and Claudia.
Yes. But that makes sense, right? Because Micah comes from a bookstore, right?
Oh, I just had another inequity thing I remembered.
There's one more inequity thing? I have one more funny quote.
Actually, it's heteronormative for the most part. So in the episode, what's it called? Resonance.
Mm-hmm.
When the female Chicago FBI agent walks in,
Yes.
the camera follows Pete's eyeballs.
It does.
Up and down the poor woman's body. And I was like, do we have to do this really? And then Pete's like, his tongue's
Well, he literally says, "I'm in love."
right.
And then Micah hits him.
Yeah. It's like, get back on the job. So yeah, the whole panning bit, I'm just like, it was a little unnerving. I was like, really? Do we have to objectify by the camera? Right.
Yeah. I do like that episode because it really solidifies that what their job is.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because Pete says, the bank robbers, that's not our problem.
Yeah, at the end they had
That is our problem.
Yeah.
And he points to the record.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, they really define the ethics for their own job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't really care about any of the other parts.
They kind of define it for themselves within the FBI too, where they don't say the things they need to say, even though she knows you're holding stuff from me.
Right?
Yeah.
You're holding stuff back. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it comes up again in the prison episode where
yeah.
the warden's like, "You need to tell me." And they're like,
We can't. Yeah. Yeah.
And Micah, she says something along the lines of, "Don't take our silence as rudeness.
Right.
It's really just above our ability to say."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
It would have been cool if they could have circled back on that conversation when they had to tell the warden that she had to keep the cross on the wall. And there sort of did when Pete goes, "I hope you like crosses."
Yeah, sort of does, but not really.
Yeah, they didn't really have a whole conversation about how she was going to have to keep that on her wall. Right. Yeah. 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 They had to tend to that poor character. Yes. There was a quote from the landlord. I wanted to find it because it was so cute. It was very Southern. Well, I found it to be a Southern one, but it may not be. or even maybe the
Is it turtle on the back?
Yeah, more bad luck than a turtle on its back. And I thought that is just the cutest way to talk about bad luck.
Right.
Yeah. It's cute.
It's a great way of saying that. She was great. She's fun.
I don't know that I had any other quotes.
Oh, I have so many quotes. I have a lot of quotes, but...
Oh, here's another inequity one that I found.
You found another inequity?
Ish.
Did you not read your notes before this?
Well, they got less and less.
Yeah, they did.
As this is episode 9, and it really is this one tiny little blurb.
What's your tiny little blurb?
So Pete is asking about art or furniture being brought into the prison.
Yeah.
And the warden is female.
Oh, yes.
And she picks up on it, and she's like, it doesn't have a woman's touch, and she's like rolling her eyes and everything.
Well, that's because he literally says the words woman's touch.
Oh, did he? I don't remember that. But anyway, yeah. So that was
there's that.
That's it. The rest of it.
There is one more inequity thing I just remembered.
She is wearing a skirt and heels, though.
She is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably a power move on her part. But
back in that time period, yeah, sure.
There's one more inequity thing. So when McPherson is put in the bronzer, and then Lena walks up.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch what he said?
A beautiful creature.
He also said, "Is this a parting gift?"
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so
yeah, I
cringy.
know. Oh. Makes me want to vomit. Yeah.
I don't like McPherson.
Well,
I know we're not supposed to, but dang.
The thing about it is that he says that, and then we find out he's using her.
Oh yeah.
It's just. Yeah, gross.
We're not going to tell you how he's using her, but he is using her.
No, because that's
part
he's
of the
using
whole
her.
Storyline. But yeah,
he is using her.
You have to watch the next season to find out.
Because it ends very dramatically.
It does.
The umbilicus explodes.
Mm. If you don't know what an umbilicus is, you have to watch the TV show.
Right, it's just the tunnel between the office and the outside.
Right.
It's got multiple doors, but there's bombs.
You told them what it is.
I did. It's okay. Go ahead and watch it. It's still good.
Since we did bring up ethics of the job situation, when Artie meets with the regents, he makes judgments on the waitress.
He does.
That's supposedly serving him, and he gets reprimanded.
He does.
And talked
by
to about that. Yeah, he gets a little bit of a hand slap for having a bias, right? For people can do more than one job, and it doesn't matter if you're identified as plumber or teacher
and we don't know
or
what
crossing
the
guard or whatever
of their jobs are in real life.
Right. Yeah. People can be more than one thing.
We do learn about the regents more later, but in this case, I want to point out that the regents in this case are very white. There's very few. There was one Asian man, one black woman.
Mm-hmm. They're different weights.
They are different weights, but it was very white.
It is,
and I want to point out that that's not all the regents.
Right. Later in the series,
we meet more regents, and they were not there, so you have to infer that there are more regents than that were at
more
this
diverse.
Meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were more regents. There's more pieces to this puzzle.
Right. And I want to say, too, that McPherson is also a white man.
He is.
That exerts his white male power. I'm shaking my head and rolling my eyes. But that adversarial kind of stuff changes over time. So it gets more feminist.
Oh, yeah. I
move
love
forward.
Season 2's antagonist.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else we wanted to mention?
Did you have any other quotes you wanted to...
Well, let's end on a fun one.
Impart on us.
Let's end on a fun one. In episode 9, Claudia is up on... She's
stuck.
Magnetized to the beam. And she says, would it have killed you to put a warning on this thing? And Artie responds with, saying what? Only put this on in case of stupid?
I mean, the whole warehouse is kind of bugged, right?
Right?
It has
this
properties.
is when she learns. She truly learns. Do not touch without knowing the risks.
Right. Yeah.
Then
we see her with the vacuum cleaner.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So.
Well, and the vacuum cleaner is not an artifact.
Well,
right?
and then she uses the snow globe to.
But then she has
that
used
episode.
The risks.
That's probably one of my favorite episodes.
It is. It's a good episode.
Because all three of them make the mistake of interacting.
Yes. They all make the mistake,
yes.
and then they all make mistakes and deal with it, but Artie's also fighting for them. It's just a good episode.
It's a really
That's
good
episode
episode.
10. This season's only 12 episodes or 13.
Yeah.
I highly recommend watching it. It's just great.
I have another. I guess I should have put that at the front, the trigger warning, because I'm thinking of another trigger.
There's another trigger?
Yeah, because we're getting later in the series, and that poor man meets his end with a samurai knife. Eesh. And we get to see that. It's kind of gory.
But there's not much to see.
True.
His head just falls off. That's really what happens. Because the knife is that sharp. That's what it's supposed to be.
Right.
There's not even blood. And they don't go over there.
No, but if you look in the background stuff, it's on the ground. But yeah.
Yeah. There is technically blood in that one, so trigger warning for there.
I mean, if there's going to be violence, there's going to be blood. So yeah.
Not always. But yeah. Anything else that pops up in your head?
Think that's it.
All right. I think we did it. This was a good one. This was fun to watch. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed watching it too. I was looking at the trigger warnings. I'm like, oh, geez, it got really long. But I think it's just because that's normal life. We live with those things, right? This show does a really good job of balance.
It does.
There's a balance of drama. There's a balance of comedy. There's a balance of inequity to equity, right? There's this sort
even a little bit of tragedy.
Yeah.
And fear, thriller stuff.
Yeah. Push, pull, psychological stuff, like spiritual stuff. Like it really runs the whole human experience, right? The human condition. And I think that's what attracts me to it is the human condition part. And it really speaks to that. It's philosophical in that way. And it pushes the boundaries of our imagination and creativity to make us think of objects in a different way.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, there's 5 seasons, so if one season wasn't enough, there's more.
There is more.
And we'll get to the rest of it.
Yeah.
This was good. I had fun.
I had fun too. Yeah. Good. Yeah. All right, everyone.
All right.
Take care of yourselves.
Love yourself.
Love yourself. Have compassion and kindness for yourself and others.
Work through your grief.
Work through your grief. Find a therapist.
Yeah, if you need.
To help you.
So, all right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for joining us.